Right, the UFO animation. Seemingly the only thing you guys haven't done yet, but let me run through it. For those of you who've done this in Flash, it's a little similar. There's some minor differences, and if you're jumping across from Flash into Toon Boom and trying out new things, this may be enjoyable for you. First of all, we're going to start a small little exercise by drawing a UFO. I'm going to start with basic colours and adjust them, that's okay. But let's see. So, big star flying saucer. Now my proviso on the UFO before you put pen to Wacom screen is to put 5 running lights. You can put more, yes, but let's put 5 running lights as a starting point. Okay. I think that will be the basic shape. Yes, my lines aren't smooth, are they? No, let's kick up smoothing. Okay, UFO needs some lights. 5 lights. Around the outside. I could have done more. Potential for lights in between, but I'm going to embellish my UFO a little bit. A hint that someone's driving in there. Can't see him. Maybe we can see subtle blurriness through the okay, let's give him a little antenna. And a couple of panels that can be like that, maybe an open panel where we can see a whole bunch of tubes. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So now I'm going to colour this. Okay, so let's add some colours. So add window colour. So pale blue. Okay. There we go. Now, but it's not filling in. You haven't closed your gaps. Right, so just be aware of that. And we've got what is it? Closed gaps potentially to fiddle around with, but don't get used to using it, because you can, when you close gaps, they say you got closed large gaps, and it might not fill in this area here, even though it's within the closed area. So just be aware. Okay. I'm going to add a grey. Let's do a mid-grey, like my mid-greys, and add. We want a base light colour, don't we? So let's make that sort of a really dark red. That way, give a slight tinge to it, but when they light up, they go bright red. So I'm going to okay, I might hit plus and just go up to bright red from there. That's good. There are my colours. Let's paint. panels. Now, if you want to add shadows and that, it's a fairly easy thing to do. Now, for instance, I want a shadow that runs across the bottom of my ship here. So I'm going to use the stroke tool, press K so I can see outlines. I'm just going to create a line which is going to be the underside shadow, and I'm going to create a line which is going to be my cockpit hidden shadow. Then I'm going to create a line which is the area that's underneath the edges of those panels. Right, so and I'll add colour from the grey, make it a tad darker, not a huge amount. You should be able to see the difference there. Okay, so you want maybe that. Okay, and just use the paint bucket to fill that in. Cool. And then the lights, we want the lights off to start off with. And I'm going to go to the next frame. Oh. Actually, stay on the same frame and hit duplicate drawing. 5 times. That's right. Okay. So I'm going to put that as drawing 1. They're all the same, but if I go into the second one, change that to drawing 2. Third one, drawing 3. Fourth one, drawing 4. And last one, drawing 5. Okay. Which doesn't sit. I've duplicated the frame. They're all the same frame, but why would we want to label them differently? Well, this is where I do my numbered lights coming on. Okay. I'm going to change my color to bright red, and I'm going to go clockwise around. Okay, so I'm just going to go from this right to left. So paint bucket, brighter red, dink. Okay, then I'll go on the next frame, and the next light. Next frame, next light, next frame, next light, next frame, last frame, last light. Okay, if you want to see that working, I'll just decrease the render time, and there we go. It's flashing by a little bit fast, so I'm going to extend the exposure here. So let's extend that out and select all these frames. Okay, if I right click and go to extend exposure, I can make individual frames continue for a little while. Whereas if I want to extend the exposure for each of those frames, I go up to exposure. I'm going to set exposure to 2. Should make it 10 frames long. There we go. And if I play it now, okay, I haven't. We'll close that. There we go. Much better pace. Much better pace. It's fine. Now, I'm considering adding a yellow light just after. So I might do that. So let's add another light. Bright yellow. Yeah. So this one is going to follow, this will be the last one. Yep. And the next one will be there. 2 frames along this time. To there. To there. And to there. That's cool. Good. Lights flying around. Looks really good. Okay, so the UFO by itself is not going to do much. However, I should label my UFO. Right. However, I'm going to do any sort of animation on it. I can quite easily do it. Okay. I'll just add a peg. Don't do that there. I do it here. So I select, add, peg. It gives it UFO underscore peg. I can modify the peg by going into a point. We kind of want it rotated around the center of the base, wherever that would be. Yep. So if you point, it flies like that. Yeah. Okay. Now, this sequence that loops continuously is called a cycle, and I want it to continue for a little bit because I want to do this UFO taking off. It's easy enough to do, right? All I have to do is extend out the number of frames I want. Let's say about 300 frames. It's a lot of frames. Might not need them all, but okay. 10 is the number of frames we've got into 300. That's 30 cycles. So if I select, right click and create cycle, I'll just say 30 and okay. There we go. And that will continue indefinitely for 300 frames. Indefinitely for 300 frames? Let's not get into that. Okay, so if I'm going to do any sort of animation, I turn on the animation tool and I'm going to move the UFO to the starting point of where it's going to take off from. So it's going to sit flat on the ground. I'm going to reduce the size of it on the screen. Right, and it's going to pop up off the ground. Now, it's going to sit there for a little bit, and but after about a second, 25 frames, I'll go F6, and it's going to take to 31 frames to zip up, which is a quick movement, but in the middle I'm going to actually stretch and squash the UFO as it comes up, so it's a whoomp. Try and keep the same volume. It's probably a little bit thin for what it is, or I stretch it up. Yeah. So it goes shump up. Now it's gonna sit there for the rest of the second. F6. Okay. And then I'm gonna have it go back. Oh, see. Could go a couple of frames. Go back. Rotate a little bit as it does, so it sort of pulls back, and final zooms off, giving me only a short amount of animation, but let's have a look at how that works. So I might bring my slider back. We don't lose any of our frames on the bottom frame. If we do, we just want to see how that works. Here I go. Up. Okay, it's fairly straightforward. So let's give this line some ease just to smooth out some of those motions. Okay, so I select it and hit ease. Okay, the first one, frame going along, is linear. It's not going to do anything. Okay. However, the next one is a couple of frames as it zips up, so it's going to start off slow and speed up. And apply next. And this one is going to start off fast and slow down as it comes through these keyframes. Yeah. So the flatter the curve, the slower it's aiming to go. The steeper the curve, the faster it's aiming to go. So apply next. Okay. That's right. Sits there. And leave that. Next one is smooth. Right. Next. Just smooth. Sort of an S curve. And the next one is starting off slow and accelerating away to frame 75. Okay, let's apply next. That's good. Apply next and close. See how that looks. And accelerates away. And that's pretty much the UFO, guys. So you can make it fly a little bit more casually around the screen if you're really interested. Right, that path that we just created. Right. If you hit this button here, show control, you can see it. And if I make any modifications to that, I can press P, I think, to create a control point so I can curve that motion. Okay, so I could make it spin back on the screen, but I think the nice curve motion as it goes and zips off. Okay, so that's just turning on this and hitting P to give it a point that it control, but you can also grab these points and move them on. Okay. So, good value. And save your UFO. You can go back and redraw it, have another go if you like. Just the idea of getting the timing and the ease happening. It's a fairly straightforward, simple little project. Do that. Okay, fine. Save. And turn off the camera.